Well, folks, we are back and we are live with the 90th Masters recap. And this time, I'm going to start the show correctly. It's all up to you, Jack.
This is Jack Nicklaus. You're watching Touching Greatness with Ted Sobel, celebrating 50-plus years.
Now I feel bad because he didn't mention Brady Riggs and Larry Stein. What's up, boys?
How you doing, Ted?
I'm doing great, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about tonight.
We sure do. We
And
absolutely
there is
do.
no way that we weren't going to do this show after our text chain of yesterday, where we covered everything, including whatever they were selling on the sidelines.
Exactly. That was awesome.
It was fun.
I'm just happy to be here with you two, feeling honored, grateful.
Yes.
You know, just
You're
in my
happy to
normal
be
state.
anywhere. Is that what you said?
Oh, it was a beautiful day. It rained in LA today. It was lovely.
Yeah, it did rain.
I was at El Cab. We were on
Nice.
the second hole, and I looked at the
Okay.
clouds and I said, that doesn't look good. And she's like,
Yeah.
there's no rain in the forecast. I'm like, well, somebody didn't tell that. And I said, that's going to be ugly soon. And we had about another half a hole, and then all of a sudden, thunder and lightning. And then the siren went off, and that was it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, before we go any further, you guys have to introduce yourselves a little bit. Brady, who are you, and why do you teach people golf?
That's a really good question.
It's a great question.
I failed my way into my career.
Okay.
You know,
You couldn't make it on tour, so you thought, you know what, I might as well teach them bad habits.
Well, not only that, I was not qualified to do anything else. I spent my entire youth at the golf course.
Okay.
You know, ditched class,
Yes.
practiced and did all that. And then after the dust settled, I'm like, shit, I better do something. So
Exactly.
golf instruction seemed like a good choice. Here we are.
That's why I got into radio, because I couldn't do anything else either. Larry, what's your podcast about?
Larry the Golf Guy. We interview all sorts of folks, USGA, National PGA guys, pros like Brady, players, almost
Now, write me
130
up.
episodes in the book. So listen up. It's a
Wow.
fun listen.
But
Sounds
Larry,
fun.
who's your most favorite and most highest number of appearances on your show? Who would that be?
Yeah, I'm talking to him, Mr. Brady Riggs.
That's what I'm
Wow.
talking
Are those the weeks you couldn't find anybody else?
I see where we're starting, Ted. I see where we're starting.
Oh, we're just having fun. We're going to make everybody laugh so hard, they're going to have to go see a shrink when this is all over.
Fair enough.
Yes. All right. So tell us about your week at El Cab, what we got coming up. What's the story with Danielle Kang, who won 2 U.S. amateurs for you and her as a team?
She's the first alternate, so keeping our fingers crossed that, somebody has something better to do this week.
Okay.
Not going to wish harm on anyone. That's not me, by the way. So.
That's not me either.
Okay. So,
Larry, you're so popular.
we guilted
That's
Larry.
Brady on the other line. He wants to do on your next show.
Exactly. I tried to book my week up.
Okay.
So we're hoping she gets in. We'll see what happens. Fingers crossed on that. And then
Okay. And Yanni's in.
Yanni Sang got in. They got her in yesterday. So,
That's so awesome.
sponsor, however that
That's
happened. She's ready to go. Made her last 2 cuts on the LPGA
Beautiful.
Tour and is just off and running. And hopefully we get some big news this week on something else potentially on the horizon. So we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed on that one.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. Okay.
Yes, could be good. Could be good. So,
Boy, any idea how El Cab suits her game?
El Cab's good. I think Wilshire kind of, and Larry might speak to this too. Wilshire at times feels a little tight and a little small,
Okay.
El Cab is, you got to hit the driver. You got to hit the driver. It's Bermuda, which is interesting. There's the greens are enormous. So, and there's a lot of slope on them as well. So it's a good venue. I think the redesign was good. And I think it's going to be a ball striker's track. So that's always good for her. The longer it is, the more you got to hit it high and soft, the better for her. Because she's just still a tremendous ball striker and hits it plenty far. So it could be good for her. We'll see how it goes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So
great.
one more thing before we get into Rory and an incredible weekend of golf. I did not acknowledge, and I felt really bad about it, so I posted it over the week, but the passing of Fuzzy Zeller since the last Masters. He was 74 years old, won the 1979 Masters, and he's the first and only to win his first and only Masters tournament at Augusta, which is amazing because I thought the first year somebody had to win, and that would have been their first, but nobody ever talks about it.
True.
Horton Smith and Gene Sarazen, for those listening, 34 and 35. Those are the first two winners. But after that, you go all the way to 79 for a first-time player.
Hey, Larry, quick trivia, since we're on 1934. Who won the U.S. Amateur in 1934? He also won a British Amateur.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Now, why would you know this and not Larry?
Friend of Mr. Jones as well.
God.
Okay, we're running out of showtime here, Larry.
Yeah, I don't. You got me stumped. I'm not sure. I could get Lawson. I was going to say. Should have Lawson Little. What's Lawson Little known for, Brady?
Give me that because I just read it yesterday because I was doing some.
He's the reason we have the 14 club rule.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
see,
played with a lot more than 14 clubs.
Oh, you historians.
If you join me on Instagram tomorrow, I will have posted a very interesting side-by-side comparison of Lawson Little and 81 years later, Matthew Fitzpatrick, who also was U.S. Amateur champion, whose swings are extremely similar.
Nice.
Nothing new under the sun.
Very nice.
So that'll be a kind of a good one to see on @RedGoat on Instagram. There you go.
We will be watching for that for sure. And I put this picture up, guys. A couple of Masters champs. That's Fuzzy to the left and the Walrus to the right. This was when we used to do the shot at the top of the hotel down at Newport Beach like 20 years ago, right? And Fuzzy stayed in touch. He was so much fun. Yes, he did said some stupid things and a racially insensitive joke about Tiger, and that will stick with his name forever, unfortunately, but he was a hell of a guy. We used to meet on Thursday mornings the last 3 times I was at the Masters before the opening tee shots by the usual threesome, and we would just talk, and the last time we had a chat was when it was Arnold Palmer's final one. So, and he was crying, and we were all crying because we knew it was going to be the last time we ever saw him.
Anyway, I got a great Fuzzy story. Ready?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Okay, we're in Vegas. One of my amateur students decides he wants to play and pay to play so he can play with some pros. So we have 3 rounds. We have Jesper Parnevik. I forget who the other guy was. Oh, no, it was Brandel Chambly. Just kidding. And then he also had Fuzzy Zeller as one of his partners. And so we're on and I am in full caddy mode in that I played poker all night and gone from the casino to the first tee, of course.
Okay.
So I show up and we're at TPC, Summerlin. Anyway, he's playing with Fuzzy. And this guy's pretty long. He's like a 3 handicapper. He's a good drive. And he's past Fuzzy because Fuzzy's playing behind him. Anyway, we get down the fairway, a slight downslope. Green's below. He's hitting a wedge. Well, it's taking a while. Group in front is slow. My guy's slow. Fuzzy's down by the green. Some people are around the green. Not more than 100 or 200 people anyway. So anyway, his name is Michael. Michael never touches a blade of grass. It's the equator of the ball with the leading edge. And this is a heat-seeking missile. I mean, it's right over the flag, over the green, over everything, into the desert. So Fuzzy's down by the green. And Michael takes himself a little seriously. So this was always going to be a little bit of a problem. But Fuzzy goes, "Hey, Michael, touch a ball, buddy. That's a home run." And it was fantastic.
Okay.
He just absolutely embarrassed the heck out of him on the first three.
I love it. That's great.
Fuzzy was great the whole day. He's interacting with everybody, and he's a really good pro-am partner. Not a guy doing his own thing. He was a good dude.
No, he was a lot of fun to be around, no doubt about that. And one last thing, it's the 10th anniversary of Kobe Bryant's final game, 60 points. I was there talking to him afterwards. There he is. That was ridiculous. How can you score 60 points when you're 160 years old?
Incredible.
Not too bad.
That. Yeah,
that was amazing. All right, let's get to the golf, boys. Let's just say we're going to go over the entire tournament, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know what? There's a little bit of all of that this week.
For sure.
Got to play the theme for the old movie. That's sort of the look that's, you can see Sergio with his head down, walking away with the song playing in the background. Anyway, you want to get to Sergio first? You want to get to the ugly first? You want to get that out of the way?
Absolutely.
Sure. Larry, go first. Tell us
No, Brady, you're such a Sergio fan. I want to hear this.
So, were you surprised? Was anybody surprised at this behavior?
No, was I surprised? Not in the
surprised?
least.
No.
Not in the
Could you
least.
ever be surprised with Sergio?
That's the thing. Like, where none of us are surprised, right? I mean, has there ever been a more ungrateful, unappreciative, tone deaf, pathetic baby on a golf course? More egregious
Probably
than
not.
Sergio Garcia.
Not in the
guy
pros.
he has a great life. He's had a great career by any stretch. I mean, he was a tremendous Ryder Cup player. Obviously, tons of success. He's won a major. I don't think anybody would say that it was the career that we thought he was going to have after the PGA Championship and where he almost beat Tiger. But still, it's a good life, And he's out there on a Sunday. He's at the bottom of the field, basically.
Yep.
And hits what is easily not a bad drive, right?
Yeah. Look at the line. I wish I could hit it.
Look at the tracer, right?
Yeah, it's not a bad drive, but it's just like to damage the golf course on Sunday with everyone coming behind him.
Exactly.
It's like spitting in the hole and other the crap that he's done over the years. And I know that one of the Green Jackets talked to him immediately, within a couple of holes. He had a little conversation with him. But this is just a joke. And the thing that Masters hates more than anything is people distracting from the tournament. It's why they didn't have Norman out there and all of the other things that they've done over the years to protect the tournament and the integrity of the tournament. I thought he was disgraceful. I'm sure they won't do it, but I would think that a ban of a year would be more than reasonable. It won't happen, but this guy has just, and nobody's going to shed a tear when he doesn't get a captaincy for the Ryder Cup or an assistant captaincy or any of those things, because he's just not well liked, at all. So
but he did get 100% contact with the cooler, a little better than the ball even.
Yeah, he hit it solid.
I hope he signed the cooler afterwards to show the dent that he put in it somehow. Look at the head on that driver.
And the interview afterwards was almost as bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was pretty much
terrible. Yeah, but it's par for the course for him.
Yeah, and what was this? Carrying, like John Rahm was carrying his bag or something, and he was carrying Rahm's bag. I didn't get any of that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Two Masters champions behaving like idiots. It's such a shame. They think they'd have more respect. And me, I mean, I'm probably the least traditional person around when it comes to this kind of stuff. But it's Augusta. I mean, you know what you're there for. And it is what it is. One of the things we love about it is that it's like the last bastion, as Eamon Lynch wrote this week. It's last bastion of decorum in the sports world.
Sort of.
And
we're going to get into more of that in a minute, too. And Larry, do you have any last thoughts on Sergio?
No, I just agree with Brady. I mean, this is just classic Sergio. And I would love to see him banned for a year. They won't. But, I mean, it's just terrible. He did get the warning from the Green Jacket. I think it was Mr. Yang, who's the chairman of the competition committee this year, newly formed, newly elevated to that position. But it should be
was he
more
wearing a helmet when he talked to him?
No, he should have been. No, but just a green coat.
Larry, who would come up to him? What past champion would have the gravitas to come up to Sergio, put their hand on his shoulder and say,
Jose Maria, maybe.
Possibly, right? That would be a guy in the lineage. Yeah. Ben Crenshaw has that type of respect, but he's
Ben Crenshaw would. I could see Ben Crenshaw doing that.
Yeah,
but if Jose Maria did it and say, "How would Seve feel?"
Yes,
exactly.
That kind of
that's right. That's exactly right. I agree.
Good point, Ted. Good point.
Okay, so another guy made a bit of a fool out of himself, and we all remember this gesture from Robert McIntyre. What the hell's going on down there?
Well, when you make, what did he make? 9 on the 15th hole? That's what happened.
Yes.
Was that right after it?
Yes.
Okay. But somebody said, I read somewhere that was like to himself or to the course, or it wasn't anyone specific, or what?
No.
What do you guys think?
It was to the course. I mean, he
It
was
was totally
frustrated.
to the course. Yeah.
And you know what? The thing about McIntyre is the dude, like if you knew any history on him,
Yeah.
he's a gritty dude. He came from a very tough place, you know, and this is who he is, and he needs to soften it. Even his dad, when he was interviewed, talked about it. He needs to chill out a little bit. But you know, this is who he is. He has a chip on his shoulder. He's a fighter, and that's a dumb thing to do. Yep. And I'm sure he'll be coached on it. But he didn't damage the golf course. He didn't. he wasn't doing it to an official or to a fan or anything. Like you said, he was more frustrated with the way that he played the hole.
Yeah.
And I have a lot less wrong, you know, in my mind. That's less wrong by leaps and bounds than what Sergio did. And I understand he's a young guy too.
Yeah, he lost his temper a little. No big deal.
Yeah. Larry?
Yeah, I'm not as I would agree with you that relative to Sergio, I don't think it's at the Sergio level. I still thought it was pretty poor. I mean, you just don't do. I mean, it's just.
Of course.
What are you telling the golf course to F off? I mean, I didn't think that was. And he got spoken to by a green coat as well. I know that.
Yes.
Okay, so one other guy that we could talk about very briefly, Mark Calcavecchi.
Oh, I love it. The phone
he showed up on the course, I guess, more than a few times with his cell phone, and they finally said, "We don't care if you used to play. You also used to be on our grounds. Good night, everybody."
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Former runner-up, right, to Sandy Lyle, British Open champion as well. Yeah, you cannot. I mean, Brady alluded to Eamon's comment about the last batch of decorum. For those who've had the privilege of going to the Masters, no cell phones on property, and it's really. And Ted, you would appreciate this. You know, do so many sporting events. I mean, you go to so many sporting events now. Everyone wants to capture it. And the beauty of not having the cell phones is everyone is just forced to experience it. You know, you don't, and it's a wonderful thing. You don't have to say, "Oh, I need to take a picture of this guy's swing" or whatever. It's a wonderful atmosphere there, and they don't allow exceptions to that rule.
Yeah, you know how what makes me think the most of what I miss are music concerts without phones.
Yeah,
where people are actually enjoying the music, and I fell for that too. I mean, I'm at the Justin Hayward, formerly the Moody Blues concert 2 weeks ago, and I'm videotaping the whole thing, and I'm staring at myself saying, "What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Enjoy the concert," but I wanted to remember this too. So I'm sort of in the middle. He's 79 years old. It's like, just take the pictures. But it's wrong. It's bad. Yeah. I'm an idiot too.
And so am I. I go over to Riviera for the LA Open. I always am like so busy taking pictures of people's swings instead of just sitting back and watching and taking it in and enjoying it.
And 90% of the time, you'll end up deleting them anyway.
Exactly, or never watching them.
That too, yes. You, Brady, are you into doing videos at the public stuff?
No, because I film everything all day anyway.
Well, that's
so if I have a chance not to take a video, I'm all about that. I did want to ask you, both of you guys, because I thought this was interesting. So
yes.
Scheffler complaining about the course setup for Friday, which I thought was really interesting.
Yes.
You know, and okay, so it was softer than he thought on Friday. And I know Larry had mentioned that in our group chat. But
yeah,
I think, you know, to voice your disapproval over the setup, I'm sorry, that's not why you didn't score well. I mean, half the field had the same setup in the afternoon that you did.
Yep.
On the first day, and it doesn't look good. The field is what it is. The you have a draw and you're on the top half or the bottom half of the draw. This professional golf, you know, so there's not much you can do about it. And then the other thing I did want to mention, I want to ask you guys about, was exactly this. And we'll get into CBS's coverage because it was abysmal. But Hao Tong Lee took a half hour on 13 at least extra.
You have a 9 or a 10 or something?
He made a 10 to make the score that he did. And the fact that Scheffler was positive with him about it, I thought was very classy.
Right.
You know, I think he handled that really, really well. And so this is the thing with Scheffler, as far as I'm concerned. Like, there's some stuff he does, the interview that he gave where he was crappy during the interview.
Right.
I didn't appreciate that, you know, where he was upset. Well, you know, that I didn't leave any out there. It's a dumb question. I can't figure this guy out. Is he just wholesome and goodness and all that stuff, or is this other side of his personality that comes out on occasion?
I think he has a little bit of all of it. We've seen, how he came across when he had the arrest that day, and then how he reacted afterwards. I think he was as much stunned as he was, didn't know really how to react. But I thought it was weird, and it made me feel uncomfortable how he dealt with it. Before we get into more on Scotty, I recorded a little bit of his post-match interview. Let's watch about a minute and a half of it. All right.
On the second night, I think you said you watched.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always curious as to what's going to happen, and so I think you always want to know kind of where you're at on the leaderboard.
Can you remember one moment when you looked up, probably around 11 or 12? I'm guessing when you realized that you retired with just one back, somewhere around there.
I always felt like I was a couple shots out of it, but I was ahead of those guys, so I felt like if I could make a few birdies and post a score, then I'd be in a good spot. But I just wasn't able to make enough birdies on the back.
Is the frustration from the earlier part of the week and not really scoring maybe when others made scores?
The course stuff.
Yeah, I'd say Friday probably hurt the most in terms of my chances of winning. We went out on Thursday afternoon were some of the most challenging conditions I think that we had all week. I didn't see many birdies out there Thursday afternoon, and so going out on Friday, whatever they did to the greens to soften them up, they did some stuff, and I just wasn't able to take advantage of that going out early on Friday. And then you saw the barrage of birdies that Rory made and Cam Young and a bunch of guys made on Friday late in the day, and I think I finished maybe 2 over par on Friday, so that day probably hurt the most in terms of my chances to win. But overall, over the course of the weekend, I did some pretty nice stuff to give myself a chance.
Would you prefer if they dried it out, if they didn't make it a bit easier over the past few days?
I mean, I'm not in charge of course setup. I would have liked it to have been a little bit more equal in terms of the firmness on Thursday and Friday. I was a bit surprised at how soft things were on Friday afternoon, especially as it got late in the day. But the weather also changes, and like it was a bit windy on Thursday. So who knows? It's just. That's part of the game. We play an outdoor sport, and you don't know how conditions are going to change, especially course conditions. And overall, like I said, just Friday for me going out early, not being able to shoot an under par round, that definitely hurt my chance.
So I'm gonna give you my take on this. So I'm gonna disagree a little bit with my friend Mr. Riggs. I think if you listen to that whole thing, I don't hear that as complaining.
I agree with you.
I don't hear that at all. I hear him saying, the condition. He was surprised that after Thursday that they, and as was I, frankly,
me too,
that they sort of watered the greens down and slowed the course down. But he's not bitching about it. He's basically saying, and I didn't take advantage of those conditions, and I needed to. And so I don't listen to that, because I actually saw a transcript of that entire clip you just played. So I had read it earlier today, and I my takeaway from that is not so much complaining at all, but surprised at the change, and acknowledging that that's on him for not taking advantage of it.
I heard him say that there were a barrage of birdies on Friday afternoon, and the conditions were the hardest on Thursday afternoon when he was playing in that condition. So I don't know. I think I get what you're saying. I guess just the interpretation of he's not going to come out and just outwardly disagree with the setup and be critical of it. But I think that's about as critical as he could be and still be in the right space with the tournament. But I think what he said at the end is true, and I wish he would have maybe led with that, which is that you don't know what the conditions are going to be. It's starting to get windy. They're afraid of it getting too far gone in terms of firmness. It was still 12 under 1. It wasn't like it was 20 under. It was playing plenty hard. I think when you look at the stretch that Rory played and Cam Young played, and they made all those birdies, I mean, Rory was just on one. He was on a heater, and he he holed out on 17, and I just feel like I get what you're saying. Maybe I'm trying to find some things that I don't like about Scotty in a way, but I do feel like he gets a little testy with the media sometimes, and that bugs me. And I just wish he'd just kind of shut up and play. How's that?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
look, he was testy with the media the day before, or
Yes,
yeah,
he
I
was.
don't
after
think
the
this was
65.
being tested.
I don't think this was testy at all.
I
I
don't either.
really don't.
I actually
think
think
this.
he handled it fairly well, Larry,
I agree
considering
with you,
he
Ted.
just
I agree.
lost. Right?
Right,
I mean,
and
this wasn't
yeah,
another day where I've got 2 more days to pull. Now it's over, and I'm going home.
yeah. Well,
wish he
I
would have
think
won
he had the look. What he said, he acknowledged. I mean, he should have had the barrage of birdies too. He's not saying it was easier Friday for both parts of the draw than it was, Thursday afternoon, and he didn't take advantage of it, and Cam Young and obviously Rory did, and that's not on the course. That's on Scotty, and that's what I heard, that he acknowledged that.
Yeah, I just wish as a fan of the game, and if it was my player and I was talking to him about how to handle the media, I would say when that situation presents itself, 100% on you, 100% on you. You take all of the blame for the fact that you didn't score. Say, look, this setup has nothing to do with it. That was me 100% of the way. I didn't execute on the par fives. I let the par fives get away from me all week. That's the reason I'm not going to go get, my third green jacket right now, is that I did not take care of the par fives. Instead of even talking about, the softness and the firmness, that's just my personal opinion.
Okay. And you guys should know that I think Scotty is number 5 million on the list of guys without any media training. They're thrown into pro sports and they have no idea what they're doing, and they learn the hard way. Most of them, not all of them, but most of them. They're just raw, and I give them the benefit of the doubt since I'm the idiot who always asks them the questions, right? and by the way, when you say, Brady, that you would have preferred he opened up with that statement. Remember, these guys only respond to their questions. They would rather not open up with any statement and go straight to their car. So if you don't ask them, they're not going to probably tell you, except for Rory is one of the very, very few exceptions, though.
You stole the words out of my mouth.
I know, but nobody's like him. And we're going to hear from one more
Rory
thing with
should get all
Scotty.
the credit, and the people that aren't acting that way should be held to scrutiny, because
you know what? Rory deserves all the credit in the world because he's a class act. That's all there is to it.
And I totally agree with you, as is Rose and some other guys.
Oh yeah, a bunch of them are. And look at this putt here, and the body language. It's like if that thing goes in, who knows? And we'll get to this more on the 18th with Rory, but who knows what would have happened? Again, we had a few of these, right?
So,
Larry, I want to ask you about this.
I know you're going to go ahead. In fact, I think I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Cameron Young missed it in the same side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we know, because we've seen the putt about 1 million times this week, because of its and the conversation he had with Jackie before he hit the putt in 86 about the read on that green.
Right. Rays Creek draws everything on the property in its direction, and as you're looking at this, it would be drawing it to the right or to Scotty's left. And it is, as the announcers noted, very similar line to the putt that Jack had in 86, which we have seen a number of times, especially this week. And it wiggles. It wants to sort of go to the right, but then Race Creek draws it to the left. And if you watch Jack's putt, from 86, you can see it wiggle. It goes right and then it goes left. And this did the same thing, and that that left drift at the end on Race Creek is what kept it out of the hole.
And he had that conversation with Jackie standing there, because Jackie said, I think it's left edge, you're going left. Right. And Jack said, yeah, but it's going to go left at the end because Race Creek's going to pull it that way.
Yeah.
And I swear, watching both of those putts, having known that conversation,
nobody learned.
Yeah.
It's like, did they not listen?
they
Because
should have watched. Exactly. You should have watched the pregame when Jim Nance did the thing. Exactly.
It's
would have
like
known
11.
it. Right.
When you're on the 11th green, you're walking to the 12th tee, right? Yeah. And then you're standing on the 12th tee and you're like, gee, where's the wind going? We all know where you're supposed to look.
Right.
You're supposed to look to your left at the 11th green to see where that flag is going.
Yeah,
right. And we know that Watson said when the wind gets good, you got to pull the trigger right away. We know the stories, and it's like you're standing here with your hands on your hips right now, and all you needed was just a little bit of study, and you would have had that one.
Can I label this putt the no sir putt?
Right. Exactly. It's the anti-yes, sir. It's the no, sir. Exactly. I think that's a perfect label.
All right. So nice try, Scotty, but it didn't quite work. What can I tell you? Very frustrating day for several players who really looked like they had pretty good chances. And, by the way, we haven't even talked about Rory yet, but for the most part, we will get into what he did and how he did it after we talk about the guys who were so close but no cigar. Justin Rose here with a drive that got out of hand off to the right, and he started to look down like, I can't believe I just did that. And he did. And he looked like a guy who is just done after the front nine, didn't he?
Well, I mean, Rose shot 32 on the front side, right? I mean, he birdied 7, 8, 9. I mean, you really thought that he was going to finally do it. I mean, how fitting, right? 40th anniversary of Jack doing it at 46. Rosie's 45. I mean, it really seemed like the stars were aligning, especially after Rory makes an unbelievable double on 4, 3 putting from like 6 feet. That was like remarkable. And so you really thought the stars were lining up for him. But, I don't know if age caught up with him or what, but my God, that back 9, I mean, terrible swing on 11, blocking it out. Yeah. I mean, bad swing on 12, incredible great shot on 13. He's got a 15-foot eagle putt and walks away with par because he 3-putts it. I mean, that was just killer. I felt bad for him because I really thought he was going to make it. And listening to people who were there, I think the crowd was really behind him. I mean, really wanted to see him do it, and just wasn't to be.
Hey, Larry, what's the saying about the Open, the U.S. Open?
What's this? JD's stumping me today on everything.
About winning the U.S. Open.
Oh, I mean, but you don't. I mean, the others, you lose it. You don't. I mean, is that
you
what
don't
you're
win the
about?
Open? The Open wins you.
Yeah, right. Because the others lose it. Right. That's right.
Right. So
That's
I would say like the Masters on the back 9 is the exact opposite. If you're
It
going
is
to
the
win at
opposite.
Augusta,
Right.
you've got to go win that golf tournament. Jack he shot 30 on the back after bogeying the 12th hole. You have got to go play that back 9.
Yeah.
And go deep on it. And Rose is staying on the 10th tee, 12 under par.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's staying on 12 under. He shoots 1 under par. I mean, we're in a completely different conversation right now. And he just didn't go win the golf tournament. And I don't buy the age thing. Like this is the most important moment in your entire career right now. There's no way you're tired there.
No, I didn't buy the age thing either, but he looked old on the back.
He just didn't execute. Like it
He just didn't
and maybe
execute,
it's just you want it so bad, and he just couldn't get the job done. It was hard to watch, but he didn't win the tournament, and you need to go win the tournament, and he didn't do it.
Yeah, that's not the first and only time that's the case. Look at this record there.
Unbelievable, right?
Great record.
Just phenomenal. And it shows you how hard it is to win any tournament, specifically that baby.
I agree.
Yeah, and that's probably, you never say never, but that is likely going to be his last best chance. It was too bad.
And I agree, Larry. 13, man, that was heartbreaking. Those were 2 terrific shots.
Oh, but that shot he hit, first of all, 2 great, right? The drive, right? It was almost like where Jack was in 86, speaking of 86, right? He hooked it right around, and he was right. And that's the best place to be. It's dangerous because, another 5-10 yards left, you're in the creek, but you're on the flat part of the fairway. He's got a great line to the pin, and he hits a laser right at the pin that rolls right by the hole 15 feet. I mean, I'm thinking, geez, maybe he's going to make eagle here.
Yeah.
And, that was a horrible 3-putt.
That hurt. That was a tough one to watch, and just losing the speed on that putt. And I will say, and not to jump in the Rory conversation, but from the beginning of the week, his speed was immaculate on the greens. He was so in control of the pace, and it was like he wasn't going to let that. I mean, he 3-putted from 6 feet, but he was 2-putting from everywhere else. It was just a freak show on that one green. But it was incredible that Rose, like his tournament, I think unraveled in that moment on 13 when he didn't at least 2-putt, from there.
Totally.
And it just shows you, man, you've got to be in control of everything, don't you, to win this tournament? Like you've got to have it all. You can't have anything wiggle in your game. You better be on top of it. And even the chip he hit on 12, where the pitch where he couldn't make up his mind. Do I pitch this? Do I putt it? What do I do there? That hurt too. Those 2.
He just chunked that. That was a horrible pitch. It was horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
The
pitch.
guy who got probably the least amount of pub on this list, and right there with Sam Burns, is Tyrrell Hatton, who obviously finished early and just posted a score and said, okay, come get me. And it was closer than I think most people might have thought at the time. But he was outstanding, obviously, and he was happy with his round and had to be. And Cam Young, who did his job, but sort of was up and down over the last several holes, and you never knew you were going to get out of him. He hung in there, but he looked like he was never going to win the way things were going. And your thoughts on that, guys?
I mean, I just thought, to me, the reason Cam Young has ascended the last 18 months is his putting. I mean, he has really materially, dramatically improved his putting. And the back nine yesterday, I did not see that. He missed, a lot of putts that are makeable. And I mean, like 13 was a perfect example. I mean, it is unbelievable to see how fast that green is when you miss it left and coming down. And Rory was masterful on that. And, Cam chipped it by 8 feet, missed that putt. There were a few others he missed. I mean, he just didn't make the putts coming down. If he only made one or two of them, it's a totally different story. But he missed a bunch coming down on the back nine, and that's what, to me, killed him.
I agree. I think his ball striking was excellent. He just didn't get in the hole, and he had plenty of chances on the back. And he's going to – I think Larry said it perfectly. Like, the thing that's changed him in terms of his quality of play and his ability to win the players and whatnot has been his putting, clearly. And he just didn't putt that good on the back nine. It just wasn't there. His ball striking was solid the entire day.
I think his ball striking is almost always solid when you think about it. Right?
Guy's a really good ball striker for sure.
He's a really good ball striker.
And with Sam Burns, did we see 2 or 3 shots from Sam Burns all day? I mean, that was the most bizarre.
It was weird.
I thought at one point he was going to be in second, and we would have seen 3 shots from him from the 4th hole on. That was so weird.
How do you think his family felt?
it was. I mean, this is usually. It was surprising because, and look, I know how hard it is, to produce a golf telecast. Unlike, it's probably harder than any other sport. You've got 18 different holes, all people all over the place. But CBS normally does if I dare say, masterful job of doing this, and they were off their game yesterday. I don't know who was making the choices. I love Hideki, but while we were seeing all these Hideki shots, Brian Harmon hits it close on 16. Who cares? I mean, Brian Harmon's even par. I mean, lots of people are hitting it close on 16 because of where the pin is and on that position where the ball funnels down. Who needed to see that? In the meantime, where's Sam Burns? I mean, he was like MIA for an hour and a half. I mean, it was just not CBS's finest job.
I saw him on a milk carton last night.
Right, exactly.
Embarrassing. But anyway,
I thought he left for Harbortown. It was just like, where is the dude?
That's why he was wearing that funny jacket on his way to the car.
Yeah, a little tartan action. Right, exactly.
So, is it me, or is this the biggest smile that this guy has ever had in his life? I mean, that bothers me. Watching Cam Young play, because he looks like he hates golf. And I know everybody has a different personality, but I told this, we might have talked about this before. Sahith Theegala, I saw him at Riviera about 4 years ago. And I thought the one thing I noticed about him is he looks like he is so grumpy, and he has one of the great, huge smiles that anybody could have on this tour. And I saw him near the clubhouse, and I walked up to him, introduced myself, and I said, can I just tell you something that Arnold Palmer once said to me, and I think it is so perfect for you. He says, I don't give a damn if you're having a great time, a bad time, a lousy round, but try and smile more often on the course for 2 reasons. First of all, you can't be as pissed off when you're smiling, even if you're faking it. Second of all, people are going to love that. Especially if you have a great smile. They want to watch you more than they want to watch somebody who looks like he's pissed off at the world. And this guy, and by the way, Theegala's manager walked over to me. I didn't even know he was standing there. And I thought he was going to reprimand me for telling it. And he said, that's the best advice anyone's ever said to him.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But what about Cam? Guys, he wins TPC and he looks like somebody, shot his dog.
He and Cantlay are having the
Cantlay is a comedian next to him.
Really? I mean, both.
No,
of them.
I think
Not a
this
good
is
comedian.
I think this is I think I'm with Brady. I think Cantley, this is a much closer battle on the frownness scale or whatever you want to call it with
Advantage
Cantley.
tie. It's a tie.
Yeah, exactly.
It is brutal.
But what do you
and
guys think about what I say? Is it just meaningless,
No.
or is there
Look,
something to that?
you can't look. You can't possibly in this setting, with all this stress, worry about your personality. That's
No. I'm not saying you worry. No, but you hopefully have some.
That's a good point. I just feel like, look, I would never expect somebody to be somebody they're not in that type of stress, but you just have to know that you're not going to have the appeal like you would if you had a little more personality. That's all. You're going to pay a price in that. People despise Sergio because of his attitude and his BS.
Like a family guy, and he comes across as a good person. It's nothing about him personally, but he's hard to root for.
Well, and that's why Hatton is
Exactly
relatable and at times over the line, but at least he's got some personality, and you kind of don't mind what you kind of like, he didn't hit that good. What's he going to do? So at least there's some intrigue there, but you're right. Trevino was Trevino because he never shut up and he was a lot of fun out there, and you were never going to be bored watching Trevino. And I think there's something to be said for that. But I again, like, if it's just not his personality, it's not his personality. But at the same time, like I said, you're gonna lack a little bit of kind of fan support when you do that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And this guy is so ready to win a major, it's not even funny.
Look at that record. Look at that.
Got to putt better. Better. You can't win the Masters if you don't make some putts. I thought that was Rory's thing too. He just made a lot of putts coming down the stretch when he needed to.
Right.
And 11 to me was the most important putt he made, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because that kept him in the lead going to 12. I think that was a big moment in the tournament.
Yep. And my two guys who I picked from SoCal, they finished 7th and 9th, which is not too bad considering I didn't do my homework on Morikawa's back. I had no idea it was still bothering him that much. I thought it was old news, but I was dead wrong. But he still hung in there, and they both had nice Sundays.
Very nice.
Was Xander there too? Because I didn't see. Did he hit a shot on the telecast?
I think we saw one shot from him.
Wow.
We did. That's literally what we saw. One shot. That's another example of this not being a good day for CBS. Yeah.
And if his dad is watching from Tahiti or wherever he lives,
I hope he has the app. He could watch every shot on the app.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly. Right.
But my thought is that Morikawa had a pretty gutsy week, considering that he obviously was laboring somewhat, no matter how much Brady thought an Academy Award for a few of the holes.
I thought it was amazing. Whatever you think about whether it was like he was arm swinging his way around Augusta National, and he's not exactly a bomber to start with. And so I thought that was remarkable that he finished where he did, given that.
What do you think, Brady? If you got a bad back, what would you tell your student besides take the week off?
I don't know how you compete on that level with your back in that much. Personally, I have no idea how you could do that, because we've all unfortunately tried to play with our backs in bad shape, and it's just not possible. Right. So kudos to him. If he was in that much pain and he was able to perform, hats off to you.
Right.
Yep. Agreed.
And here's the bottom of the leaderboard here, and there's the smiley one, Patrick Cantlay, right there at the end of tied for 12th. But some pretty good names on that leaderboard that made it interesting. Jake Knapp's game, a UCLA guy, looked really good too.
It sure did. He played well.
He's got a really good game for that golf course. Long swing, hits the absolute tar out of the ball. It's high, it's far. And those guys with those long swings, they usually have really good hands around the greens. And you need that, obviously.
Brady, I got to ask you a question looking at that second page of the leaderboard.
Yes.
You know how much I love Jordan Spieth.
Yes.
Is it time? Have we reached a conclusion now, 11 years after one of the great seasons of all time? Is his best golf in the rearview mirror?
He can't putt. He can't putt. He's hard to watch on the greens.
He really is.
it's not just, it's his speed. Like he leaves a lot of balls short from not very far away. There's a lot of putts he hits. I always say, like, as a coach and even as a player, I want to be, and I'm sure Larry and I, we've talked about this a million times, I want to be interested in the putt. When I hit the putt, I want to have like, maybe, at least I want to be interested for a while. There's zero interest. I mean, it leaves Spieth's putter face, it's over. That's not going in. And I feel like that's the thing holding him back. He drives the ball better, I think, now than he ever did. He's always going to be Spieth and get into some strange places and get himself out of those places. He's still a wonderful wedge player, and great around the greens, but he just cannot make anything consistently. And I think the 5 under was not reflective of how well he hit the ball.
Yeah.
And which is exactly what he said. I heard him afterwards. It's almost word for word what he said.
Yeah. And I didn't hear that, but I just watching him a little bit. And I mean, I feel like he should have been 10 easily, if not all the way to 11 or 12, because he hit it good enough, just did not make enough.
So, but you wouldn't go as far as calling him yips on the green, though.
I don't know. I mean, he looks at the hole half the time. He's looking at the ball half the time.
Overthinking it, maybe.
I don't. It's putting is its. I could let Larry would speak to this for a while. Putting is its own universe, And if you don't have confidence in what you're doing, you can't make anything. And I don't know what the answer is for him. Yeah. I think there's different answers for different people. I'm obviously very receptive to trying things with my players, but I do think that he needs to try something because this is not working right now. And I don't know what that answer is, but if he can't putt better, he's never going to win another major. And, he may not win a lot of golf tournaments either. He'll win occasionally, but
like Harbor
Yeah. I mean, that was his last win, right? Wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes,
it was. 5 years ago or something?
Yeah. 4 years ago, I think. Yeah. 4 years, okay. Yeah. No, it's just. I mean, he's such a fun guy to watch. I mean,
he's great.
Totally. When I sort of do the first 2 days when they have featured groups, if he's in a featured group, I always watch him because he is all over the place and he is a magician from escaping from trouble and stuff like that. And I really like him, but jeepers creepers. I mean, to have that season when you're 21 years old, win your third major when he had that crazy finish over Kuchar at Birkdale in 2017. And you sit here and that 2017 is 9 years ago now.
Wow.
And
I was fortunate to be there. I remember it well.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Ted, have you interviewed him much?
What's that?
Have you interviewed him much?
Yeah, I have actually at Riviera, where he absolutely loves it because he won there when he was with Texas, and I love the guy. I think he's great.
Yeah, I do too. And you looked at him at 2000. I guess he was 21 in 2015, so he wins the British at 23 at 2017. It's like he's on his way to an all-world career, and it's just stalled out. Yeah, right. Go get that ball. Exactly.
Well, I think it's interesting. Yeah. Don't you think there's a very strong parallel between his career and Koepka, and how they both, they're both kind of they're playing, but they're not really serious contenders. You don't think of either one of them as in your top 20 guys going into a major now.
That's why I wasn't that excited about Koepka returning. I mean, to me, it's like if it was 4 years ago, maybe, but now it's like, okay, you got to show me you still got that eliteness. Oh,
yeah,
I agree. I think
I agree with that too.
It's the cool thing about Rory. I think Rory had this huge, offer, for all those years of winning majors, and yet I think after winning finally the Masters last year, and he just seems to be playing better to me, and he's winning now with his less than A game more often.
Right.
Which is the sign to me that somebody is one of the greatest players who ever lived.
He's just better than everybody and he can get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, Tiger was that way for sure.
Exactly.
Tiger didn't need his A game, and I do think that Scheffler wins without his A game too. I think those are the two guys right now. But Rory, to have such a long span of emptiness and majors, and now at 36 years old, I mean, it just seems like he's hitting the ground running after the Masters last year, and you kind of wonder, like, wow. I mean, does he have another 4 or 5 or 6 in him? What do you think?
I think he does. You got to have luck, obviously, and
Of
have to be
course.
the right week where everybody else allows you to win, even if you're at your best or not at your best. But I want to ask you guys, since you're both historians, who is your favorite escape artist of all time in life that you read about or know of?
Oh boy.
Larry, you're
I
not allowed to
mean,
take this long. This is an hour
I,
show.
well, I mean, just historically, I mean, just read about. I mean, the stories of Walter Hagen are sort of legendary.
I'm not
About
talking golf.
is
I'm
it-
talking life. In life.
Oh, life. I thought we were just talking golf.
No, in life, in anything. Who's the most famous escape artist?
Houdini.
And you, Larry, and you.
I mean, I'm not an expert on these things, so I'll
I
go
thought
with
you were,
Houdini.
Brady.
Well, I mean, I'm an expert on golf, but like I said,
I thought we were
I
talking
wasted
golf,
my youth
yeah.
on golf. I can't speak to much else. This is about it for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harry Houdini, I think.
Okay,
would
so who's
be
a better
solid.
escape artist, Houdini or McIlroy?
Well,
Houdini's by far.
Did
McIlroy.
Houdini almost drown 5 times in a major and still live to see it?
2 years in a row.
Yeah,
2 years in a row. I mean,
I think
look,
it's impressive, to be honest.
well, I don't know if it's impressive or I don't know what the word is. I mean, what he did last year on 13 was I cannot think of
Oh, it
a
was awful.
world-class player making a mistake of that magnitude on a simple shot like he did on that 80-yard pitch on 13, dumping that in the water, missing that far. I mean, that was incredible. And then over what is admittedly a much harder shot, I thought it was going to be deja vu all over again, to quote Yogi. That when he's on 15 with that downhill lie yesterday into the green, much harder shot than he had last year on 13. No,
You know what?
question about it.
I would have left the course right there, gone straight to Vegas if I'm going to be that lucky.
But I mean, how does he hit it crappy enough that it didn't have the spin and that it didn't spin back? I mean, that was like within a foot or two of being a
Disaster. Totally
disaster, right? I mean, it's just and he got away with the 7 at 13 because he had did what he did coming in last year. But I don't think he wins that tournament if he makes a 7 on 15. So that was
Firethorn's been good.
Firethorn, right? Brady, what'd you think? I mean, I know that's a really hard shot, but still, weren't you surprised the way he hit that?
I mean, when his conversation about it was fascinating. It's downwind, right? He didn't want to gun it because he knew if he gunned it, it could skip. That first bounce is going to be hot off the downslope. And so I think somewhere in there, you're being a little defensive over going over the back.
Right.
But I mean, the one place you can't hit it.
Did he hit it a little thin or no?
Absolutely. Hit it thin. He didn't hit it as hard as he needed to. That ball, by all rights, should have come back in the water. And the fact that it was downwind probably saved it because it took some of the spin off.
Right.
Obviously, on the downslope helps a little bit too. But, I mean, we've all seen balls land exactly there with longer clubs and go into the water. And that was not a long club. And it really, I mean, that was the golf tournament right there. If that ball rips back into the water, at best he makes bogey, and we're in a completely different conversation right now. So he got very, very, very lucky. I think he admitted that on the telecast. But I still think Seve was a better escape artist. So
okay. I'm not saying in his career. I'm just saying that the last 2 years he's been
been incredible. I mean, as wild as Seve was too. Like, I've never seen a player just inexplicably do stuff out of the blue that puts him in such peril, and then he's able somehow to just minimize the damage and then go do something brilliant on the next hole. It's really unbelievable watching him.
Brady, how does he hit driver on 18?
Well, we're going to get to 18 in a minute. We're not. Well,
Okay.
We're going to go over a few of the holes here first.
We have to get to that.
Of course, we're going to get to 18.
Yeah.
As we look before you go, though, Ted. Before you go, look at that shot shape right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a theme. That's a theme going in all the way through this round. And
this is what I wanted to ask you about as the pro here.
Yes, that's the theme right there. That tells the story. You put him in that situation, and he's going to kill you.
Wi-Fi
Man, he's good.
is freezing. Say this, whatever you said, say it again because your Wi-Fi froze.
I was saying that you put him in that situation, and he's going to kill you. He's brilliant in that scenario, as he was on 18. And
is anybody better than him at doing this?
I mean, Tiger was brilliant at it too.
Now.
No.
Not now.
And he's good left to right. He had some beautiful holding shots, but man, when he's got to turn the ball over and hit it
he
high,
needs to sling a high draw. He's unparalleled. I agree.
Kenny Perry's jealous watching it. That's how good it is.
Okay, so here's number 12, and his alignment is much better than mine was, obviously.
Yes.
How perfect was this shot? Guys, we're going to go over 12 and 13 right now. I think the two best tee shots in my Masters lifetime back to back.
See, Larry and I are thinking the same thing. Larry, go ahead. You go first.
No, and you know what I'm going to say, Brady. You say it. Go ahead.
1975,
Yeah. Geez,
I mean,
I'm not that old.
4 guys were on that tee, and man, there's some good shots coming out of Watson. There were good shots coming out of Nicklaus, Palmer, Trevino. I mean, and the whole
12 and 13?
I'm talking 12.
Just 12.
I said 12 and 13.
Okay, I'm just saying that.
You're doing 12 for one thing. Yeah.
12, man. Those were some quality shots those guys did, and closer than Rory did on 12. Now, because of recency bias and all the tragedies we've seen over the last, however many years, I mean, both him and Cameron hit fabulous shots. That whole location was easier because it was deeper and it was easier from the right tee, which is unusual for them to put it on the right tee on Sunday, because the hole becomes straighter from there. You can almost hit it left to a certain degree. When it's on the back of the left box, you're going more with the water down the right than you. I know it doesn't seem like it matters a lot, but 10 yards makes a massive difference.
Massive difference. I totally
and I
agree.
feel like Rory was able to aim back at the left, the middle of the bunker, like he said, and he worked it a little bit left to right, and that would have been a really difficult angle to do the same thing on had the tee been on the back left. That's how I see it. It was still, I'm not taking anything away from the quality because it was wonderful, but the 2 great shots in a row, and I was, whenever you're watching, how nervous are you guys watching the 12th tee with the leaders coming down the stretch? Because what can happen, right?
It's
like
great.
You're waiting
I love
for them
it.
to swing. They swing, and you're kind of trying to see, is he trying to save it? And
you look at the body. Exactly. You look at the body language, right?
It's one of the most compelling moments in this tournament every year when somebody gets to 12, especially on Sunday, and they're near the lead, and you're just like, it's just awesome. That's why I love
Let's not forget, this is not exactly a gimme putt, and he just hammered it in just beautifully.
Flattest green maybe on the course, Larry, would you say?
Yeah, I would. For sure.
Not that hard to read on 12.
No.
Unless you had a spike mark like Jack.
But slightly downhill.
Slightly downhill, left to right. Pretty straightforward putt. And perfect speed, gutted it right in the middle.
Perfect speed as he's done all week.
So you look at the shot, like the worst speed control he had, in my opinion, that I saw all week was the first putt on 11, where he left it at least 5 feet short. Makes a massive putt right there, and deals 2 shots better on 11 than he did the previous day, right? Goes to 12, hits this shot, which was stunningly good, steps up, guts that. Now he's gone 4-2 on holes that the previous day he went 6-4, right?
Exactly.
So we're seeing a massive shift all of a sudden. He's played him 4 shots better, and then 13, which notoriously gives him trouble, right? Such
all
a
3
tough
days
for him. And
look at this shape.
I know, and you think high draw would be his wheelhouse, but with the driver, it's not quite as repeatable. He seemed to be, in my opinion, better with the fade over the entire course to turn it off the tee. That's why I thought
I agree.
He should have, in the stinger he hit, and we'll talk about that later on 17. But this shot, man, he just strung them together right here. This was so far too. I mean, that ball went so far.
I think that's the longest drive I can ever remember. That was right in the wheelhouse where it needed to be.
And that's from the back tee.
Yep.
There
it is. Look at this. Look where his ball is. It's ridiculous. You want to know where mine was? No, we won't. I mean, that's insane how far past everybody he is there.
Larry, thoughts? Tell me what you could. Were you thinking the same
Look at
thing
this.
on
The last
12?
3 days, the previous 3 days, all in the pine straw.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I just can't help but, it's example A of how equipment, on the unregulation of equipment by the USJ the last 30 years has led to this. And Fred Ridley spoke very powerfully about that during his press conference. But look, they're all playing the same equipment, and be that as it may, I mean, that was an incredible drive, just incredible drive, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and here's an example of his 4 shots. I mean, the one in white was just total perfection. You can't get any better on that hole.
I mean, I was actually mildly surprised at his second shot, right? Because he had, what did he have? 180 yards? I mean, he didn't have that far into the green, and he missed the
I
green.
think it was less than that even.
183. He had
Was it 183?
183 hit 8 iron.
8 iron, right? So he's hitting an 8 iron into that green, and he missed it.
But if you think about the angle again, because it matters so much to Augusta more than anywhere else.
Yeah, it does.
When you look at where Rose was, right? Rose is down the left side on the
far
flat,
easier angle, far easier.
and he's going more up the green.
Right.
Rory's so far and right at the same time that he's really hitting a little pull's going to go left to the green for sure because the green's so hard. And he's got to protect against the water. 13 Sunday 2025 was in his head with the wedge.
Yeah.
And he's saying to himself, if I can just put it in the gully on the left, put it in the gully, stay out of the bunker, I can get that somewhere within 6 feet.
Well, but yeah, I know, but I have, and that's all fair. And you're absolutely right. The angle made it a lot harder, but that is a freaking hard thing to get down into for. Let's talk about Mr. Lee, who you mentioned a little while ago, who putted it into the water from the exact same spot. When what was even more interesting to me is Cam Young. So Rory hits a putter, right?
Yeah.
To Brady's point, incredible, speed control. Cam has a wedge, and I think it was Dottie or somebody who was covering it for CBS says, he needs to skip it once and stop. And he did. He hit it once and it stopped. And then it rolls and rolls and rolls. And I'm thinking, oh my God, is this going to go over the green? And it was about 2 feet short of going in the water. So that is a really hard place to get up and down. And kudos to Rory for using the putter and getting up and down. That was impressive.
Oh,
I think that was obviously it was the right choice for him.
Totally.
I don't know if there's the guy hitting the skipper, when Rory's hitting the skipper, it's the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. I mean, he did it at the Ryder Cup about 4 years ago. Whatever that was the sickest shot I've ever seen. So bad that Fitzpatrick looked at his caddy and said, "What the hell was that?" That was So, I mean, Rory can hit that shot, but it just shows you the confidence he had in his speed. The fact that he took the putter from there, he was going to have to play it up the slope, right? And then just let it feed. And it was dead weight at the hole. What a great putt that was. That was fantastic.
Awesome.
It was a beautiful putt. And
it really was.
It's fun because it's such a thing that it's a weird thing. You don't talk about it much. Lag putting is just not a big deal. But when you hear Crenshaw talking about Augusta and other players, they talk about how important lag putting is at Augusta because you have to aim away from the hole a lot. You're going to have putts with a lot of slope and a lot of speed. And you really have to have control. And it makes you think that the time he was able to spend at Augusta the weeks before, getting used to those greens and being around the property that much, he was just dialed in on speed.
Oh, and that putt itself, I think it was Dottie or somebody who was announcing to sort of said he was aimed left on that putt of the scoreboard next to the 14th tee. I mean, he was at least aiming 25 feet at least left, and that was the right play, and it just dripped right down the hole.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Well, Mick Houdini got out of this one as well, right? And he found himself in some really weird situations again on the back nine and found a way to get out of them. That's all I can say.
Well, great drive on 14, right? Hit a beautiful drive on 14 and a bit of a disappointment on the second shot because
it was I would call it a poor second shot. I mean, from where he was,
that he had it on the right line, but he was at least 10 steps short of where he needed to be.
At least, right.
So he 2-putts that. He goes to 15, a hole that, he has some decent memories on. And hits it really in the one place you kind of don't want to hit it on that hole because once you go right, your decisions made for you. You've got to lay this up. And I think he was talking about laying it further back so that he could create some spin on the shot, because he knew that if he got in too close and it came in too hot, he could then skip it over. I think he hit the layup perfect.
Yeah,
for what he was trying to do, and then he just got really lucky.
Really lucky.
Unbelievable. Yes, and
this I don't think has gotten enough
how about this
conversation. This one, to me, I haven't seen this talked about enough. To me, this was unbelievable. I mean, this is basically, not too dissimilar from the Tiger chip, but Tiger obviously chipped it, but it's the same kind of thing. I mean,
that tree over there.
Exactly right. He was farther back where those guys are.
Which
so he
is
had
where my
tee
shot went, by the way. Go ahead.
but this was unbelievable. I thought this was going to go in. I mean, this was
it was very
incredible
impressive.
speed. This was staggering to me, because I really thought he was going to lose a shot here, because that is really hard to get down in 2 from there.
I mean, you hit that too hard and it doesn't turn right soon enough, and it keeps going, and you've got 10 feet. If you don't hit it hard enough, it just goes dead right away.
Right.
The speed was perfect. I mean, obviously Tiger had a bit of a different line. He was down just south of where the caddy is right there. But
that's right.
I mean, this was a much harder shot than Tiger's.
Yes, because you're right, because he was coming more down the hill.
He couldn't use the slope to slow the ball down. Because it was going away from him off the jump.
I agree
and it
with
was
that.
Just, I mean, another putt where, like, watching that final, like what he did throughout that back 9 was control the ball on the green, make the critical short putts he had to make, and he won the golf tournament on the back 9.
Yep.
He won that
Without
tournament
question.
on the back. And he played really, really great golf, really from the 8th tee onward, where he struck the ball extremely well. I mean, the last, I thought 11 holes were pretty much immaculate. And it was right when he got kicked in the teeth the most and he needed to step up. And it's like, Rory needs to be behind, he needs to be chasing. He's not Tiger. Like Tiger in the front, I'd say is like Jack was. Like, you were not going to beat the guy. Like Tiger, too smart, too good at executing, staying committed to his plan. You had to come get him, and you weren't going to come get Tiger. Where Rory's like, "Come on back, I'm not done yet. I'll do something stupid, and it'll be entertaining." But
Brady, I got a question for you. You think he keeps it together and does this if he hadn't won the year before?
I mean, I think it was talked about. I mean, he kept it together and did it the year before, doing this craziness too.
I know, but I don't know. Some of the places he was yesterday, I think it helped a lot that he had, the Grand Slam monkey was off his back.
Well, it always helps to have less pressure. I mean,
I think he had less pressure. Nothing taking away from all the brilliance he had on this. I agree with you, but I just think that that's part of it too. Is that
it's kind of funny? It's like a soccer game, right? Like you don't mind going down 2 goals or even 3. It's not fun. But if you go down 2 or 3 goals and it's early, you got time. A baseball game's the same way. You give up a 3-run homer in the second, you're like, all right, that's not a good start, but we got time. He gave up the 6-shot lead pretty quickly on Saturday. So he had a lot of time, and he could kind of, he got over the sort of the shock, as we all, watched a lot of golf, and just as a player, when you lose something, not that I've lost a 6-shot lead at Augusta, but like you definitely have it's like everything's going fast. Your decision-making kind of sucks. You're just rattled,
Yeah.
And he did get rattled on Saturday, and he had a lot of time. So when it happened again on Sunday, it was kind of like, all right, well, I've been here before. I was here last year. And even though he just rode the unbelievable roller coaster the entire back 9, I think, Larry, no doubt, it had to be easier. It had to be easier having won the previous year.
I think
but
so.
This is kind of his MO now.
It is now. He's
that's what makes it more fun to watch, though, too, right?
Yeah.
You can't take your eyes off it.
No, it's like a bad drama. You never know what the hell's going to happen.
And he didn't make it easy coming in.
And by the way, he sort of said it in the post series of comments where he said, I didn't need this. I wanted this.
Right.
And there's a big difference, especially deep inside.
Right? Totally. Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
well said. Yeah, that's a really good point. He didn't need it, but
right.
he definitely wanted it badly.
Exactly.
he had his parents there, and I think that's another factor too. He really wanted to win
all of the above,
and all the things that go along with it. But
yeah,
I mean, there's definitely, like, you watched him make the putt on the last hole last year, and there was a collective relief across the entire golf world. Oh my God! Like, there was no joy in that moment at all, right? It was like he just absolutely somehow survived.
No, but that's what it was. It went from relief last year to pure joy this year.
That's what I felt was different. Like, I just felt like it was just a
totally you didn't feel it. Everybody felt it.
Yes, for sure.
That's for
all
sure.
right, let's go to 18, guys. Unless you got a quick thought on 17, what he did.
17 was, wow. I mean, what a pitch.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, is there anybody better than hitting that low skipper check shot than Rory? I don't think there is. It was a beautiful shot.
I have to tell you, when I saw where his second shot ended up, I'm thinking, you remember this, Brady, and Ted probably does too. When Tiger bogeyed 17 and 18, to tie DeMarco, and then won in the playoff. I mean, and Tiger did the same thing. He hit it short on 17. He didn't get up and down. And I'm thinking, God, are we going to see that again? Because, there was all this little leaking oil. I mean, that tee shot on 15 he hit, that tee shot on 16. I mean, he wasn't exactly striping it, the coming down the stretch there. And that pitch on 17 was just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Yeah, spectacular.
But who hits? But then we get to 18. Is Ted's going to mean? Yeah, what's his club selection here, Brady?
Okay, now look. Okay, now wait. I took this picture. You guys have no idea how much time it took me to prepare for this goddamn show to be with you guys and make sure that we did it right. I took this picture because it's the only one I could find where he's staring. He's not really, but it looks like he's staring at his clubs. Which one of those do I want? Let's see. I have a 2-shot lead, so I'm going to go driver. If I have a 1-shot lead, I might hit with my putter off the tee. What do you guys think?
What this is, okay, I know. So I'll go out here and let Brady comment on this, right? This is the difference between having a professional caddy, in my view,
Larry, like a fat dinner.
This is the difference between having a professional caddy and not having a professional caddy. Okay. Ooh. Harry Styles is his buddy. This is the same thing. And Brady and I talked about this endlessly when DJ 3-putted the 72nd hole at Chambers Bay. And he has his brother on the back. A professional caddy goes up to DJ over that putt and just says, just tap it. You just need to putt. Steve Williams or whoever, professional caddy does not let his player hit a driver there. That was asinine. I'm sorry. I just think that was the wrong club. And I'll tell you something.
Interview
Nance, Jim Nance.
They talked about how this is Rory's favorite club in the bag. Does that matter at all?
No, I mean,
under the circumstances.
Well, I'm curious what Brady thinks, because I thought it was interesting. Jim Nance asked Trevor when he pulls out driver, he says, Trevor, do you like this club selection? And Trevor said yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I didn't. Brady, what do you think?
Trevor might have gagged on that too, though. Didn't want to say anything controversial.
I think that's Ted. That's my view. I agree.
I go back to the 72nd hole of the Players Championship, where he stood on that tee with a driver and hit a beautiful smoke draw off that tee. Right. So it is his best club in his bag when it's working, and then sometimes it's not working. And then what was fascinating to me was on 17. He hit the exact shot he should have hit. Tee it down.
Yeah.
Helicopter the finish. Little slider. Totally under control. It took us back to Patrick Reed when he won.
Exactly. I knew you were going to say Patrick Reed with the helicopter finish.
It was that low, cutty, squeeze out cut.
That was also room for a Tiger Stinger even off of 18.
That's what I'm saying. And that's
right down the slot ski. Just hit it down the middle. Forget about it.
He hit the exact. So I felt like he's demonstrated he can hit a great shot in the 72nd hole of a big golf tournament. Totally different shot shape. But I swear Rory would be the one guy that maybe could do both shot shapes other than Tiger in his prime. Where he could hit the beat draw versus the stinger cut.
Right.
That was not a stinger.
No.
I don't know what that was. That was an out in front.
No, I think he killed a few beehives. There was no stinger in this one.
He got ahead of it. The face was open. It got stuck. He had nowhere to go on the downswing. He was trapped. But if he's hitting the other one where he's intentionally hitting the pull cut and he's put the tee down, moved it up into stance like he did on 17, it's coming out low and hot. Like all he had to do was start it somewhere right of those trees and have it move. That's all he had to do. He could even pull it, like Cameron did. Left is fine there. Left doesn't hurt you much.
Even if you're in the trap here, who cares?
So I don't it's a hard thing. Like it had shades of Van de Velde in the moment, where you're like, oh my God, what are we watching here?
Right. He got lucky with where the ball ended up, of course.
He did, but I do think, look, if he's the guy that you could say, well, he's got the shot for that circumstance, so I don't really mind him hitting the shot for that circumstance. But this was not supposed to be a golf swing.
Right.
This was supposed to be a shot that you pull the arrow out of the quiver for this moment, like Patrick Reed did. And I felt like he didn't really hit the shot he needed to hit, and that's why it got away from him. Yep. So if he was going to be full swinging, I would have had, as a caddy, I would have had my hand on the top of the head cover.
Right. Exactly.
No way.
No way, Jose.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And Larry, what would Johnny Miller have said if he was sitting in that analyst chair?
He would have said the same thing. He would have said the same thing.
Yeah, but he would have said it with passion.
With passion. He said it when Phil pulls the driver out at the 72nd hole at Wingfoot, and he said, real time.
What the hell is he doing?
Exactly. What's the hell's Phil? Phil, what the hell is you doing? He would have absolutely said that about Rory. 100%. 100%.
I don't disagree.
Okay, so here he is in the pine straw telling everybody, get out of my way, even though I'm going to hit it about 5,000 feet over your head. This was impressive. This was really because I thought what Trevor Immelman did say was a good thing to point out, was make sure that right foot doesn't slide a little bit, because it could easily happen right there. You got zero guarantees in your grip on the dirt.
Yeah, I'll tell you what was not impressive was CBS's camera work on the second shot.
That's what we're going to talk about too.
No, it's like where was it? We didn't know where either. I mean, we didn't know either where McIlroy or Cam was. But yes, that was an impressive shot. I agree.
I would say, to me, it was an impressive break. And for Rory, it is a very easy shot for Rory. It's an 8-iron. You're throwing it easily over the trees. Never going to be an issue. All he has to do is hit it high, and it's going to go down around the green somewhere. Whether it's in the front bunker, the right bunker, short of the green, it doesn't matter at that point, because he can get it all the way to the green complex. Exactly. If he's pushing it further back and he's got to go out left, he could hit a tree going out. I guarantee you, when he got to his ball, he had a massive sigh of relief. Because if you look at that picture, Ted, that you've got up right now, the tree that he hit over is over the right side of the green, right? Yep. I mean, he could have hit it anywhere in the gallery and been completely fine. He could have hit it on the 10th fairway and been fine. He could have gone anywhere he didn't need to deal with any of those trees at all that could have been absolutely in his way. It was a phenomenal break. And when he saw, I've got to hit a high draw with an 8-iron, he was like, thank God.
No, he was lucky. He was really,
but I want to ask Brady, the way you said, as great as Rory's game is, you fully expect he was going to hit an outstanding shot. Wherever it ended up, he was going to probably be okay, right? But how many other guys, under the circumstances, would have hit it as cleanly as he did? Look at that ball.
Good. Well, I mean, you're talking about just
perfecto right there.
Believing in what you're doing and trusting your mechanics and picturing the shot and hitting it. Yep. And some guys can do that great on Wednesday, on the range.
Yep.
And the difference between a tour player and a guy who's good enough to be on tour and isn't, is that they're comfortable being uncomfortable. That's what makes them special. Tommy Armour III told me that, and I believe that wholeheartedly. Okay. But this is the 72nd hole at Augusta.
Exactly.
So even tour players absolutely crack in this moment too, But I don't think there's any moment that's too big for Rory.
I agree.
He already succeeded and failed so many times in these scenarios that I just don't think for him that he's phased at any of the shots that were all like the one on 17 that Larry spoke of, the pitch shot from there, and the putt on 16, and like every hole there was some drama going on. And I just feel like he's the guy now in the moment, as is Scheffler, I believe, that are the two guys in the world that under the most stress, they execute. And this for him, this is nothing for him. Yes, the right foot, it was a good mention that you can lose it, but you can create a little bit of space down there, and he doesn't need to use his body a lot on an 8-iron.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like a fairway bunker shot in a way, but a little bit easier.
Yeah.
It was a quality shot, and even when it was plugged in the bunker, it's like it wasn't plugged that bad, and he was always going to get it out. It was always going to be within 20 feet, and there was no way he was 3-putting with his speed. No way.
Yep.
All true. Agree with all
Yeah,
that.
we knew where he was standing literally at this stage in the tournament, because it was like, okay, you're safe, you're good, just get out of the beach and we can all go home.
Well, it took
No
10
more
minutes to
overtime.
know where he was.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
We couldn't tell where either one
Unbelievable.
of these guys were, but yeah,
Unbelievable.
once he was there, I
Yeah.
think it was pretty straightforward.
Okay, now CBS's coverage, okay, on that alone, I mean, we're sitting there texting to each other during this entire time. Where the F is the ball?
Yep.
For both
Well,
of them.
I got news for you. You know who else was asking that question? Jim Nance.
He was.
Jim Nance had no idea where it was, because he's watching out of it's the same, monitors like we are. And I mean, they're sort of saying, oh, Rory's walking to the bunker. That must be where his ball is. It was just, I don't think I've ever seen something like that. I mean,
I thought maybe it was my
remarkable.
eyes, literally. I'm looking around. So is it on the edge? Did it roll back? I didn't know where the hell it went.
It was really amazing.
Anyway,
It was shockingly bad.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Shocking.
Rory made that 3-incher, and it took care of biz, and that is relief and joy, guys.
And a
That is
camera angle
total
that
joy.
we didn't see live. We got to see his back and his butt when he's making
Yeah, exactly.
Twitter, which
I had to
Yeah.
get these later.
Yeah, it was dumb. Like I just felt like they just blew it
They
from
totally
that
blew it.
perspective. And we didn't see Hao Tong's 10 was not going to change the golf tournament, but it was certainly compelling. What happened to Shane Lowry? Because he went south.
Yeah, and I didn't
massively
even know
south.
that. It's like all of a sudden I saw they showed his name. They lowered like the score sheet a little bit, and it's like he's at 2 under. Where the hell did he go?
Do they split screen ever anymore? They
Yeah,
don't do
why
that.
wouldn't
No,
they?
they actually,
Why
that's an
wouldn't they?
interesting point. They never do that. That's a good point. They don't.
Why?
I think you need to at Augusta, especially because of the roars.
All
You know,
majors.
Well, yeah, but I think at Augusta, there's roars when things go on,
Right.
So when something happens, you can't just like all of a sudden, pretend that it's happening now. You can
Right.
say, in case you heard it, this is what people are, and they'll do that on occasion. But I
Yeah.
do think like when you have multiple things happening at the same time, I don't mind a split screen. At least you
I
can
don't
kind
either.
of see what's happening in the moment, and you're telling 2 stories at the same time. And I think
Right.
with the number of players in contention and how volatile the leaderboard was, it seemed like that would have been a better choice because we would have at least been able to see what was happening.
I think they are so paranoid about missing a shot from somebody and making sure that they get one in. They don't have to be if they're split screening, and it's okay. You don't have to give the play-by-play of every breath a guy takes.
For sure.
For sure. I
You know?
agree with that.
So
Yeah.
it makes no sense. But anyway, so anything else on CBS's coverage, guys?
We've probably criticized them enough, but it was not their finest Masters, that's for sure.
No.
Yeah, and to me, I think some of the best was Rory celebrating afterwards. His parents were there, which they were not last year, and he joked, but was serious as well. Hey, they didn't want to come this year because they said, well, it was probably the reason you won last year. We weren't there, so he talked them into it, and it worked out great. But I met Jerry one time at Riv and had a very brief chat with him whatsoever. Boy, is he a proud dad.
He should be. He should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love I took a few shots of Rory celebrating, but here's my favorite one right here. Look at the look on his face. Like, let's get the hell out of here, guys. I won this. I don't want to even look anybody in the eyes.
Hey, Brady, is he now in your top 10 all time?
Yeah.
What's that?
I think
I
he
asked
is.
Brady
I mean,
if he's in Brady's top 10 of all time.
I go by, I kind of have to look at it. My way of looking at it is players that I've seen,
Right.
And that for me started somewhere around 1979, right in that range, 1980, where I started being very interested in golf.
There's his home club in Hollywood.
Yeah, in Hollywood. Yeah.
But I mean, the 2 best players over, the post, I'd say Faldo era are Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy,
Right.
for sure. And I think it's hard to deny that a guy who's won the Grand Slam, who has been number one in the world for many weeks, who is a tremendous Ryder Cup performer and won the Ryder Cup many times at this point. And he's respected all over the globe for his play. He's a classy individual. Oh, I mean, what else is there now? We're just going to add to the totals now, right? He's done everything you need to do to be in the upper echelon of greats of the game. Now he's just going to pile on numbers, and that changes conversations. But yeah, I also think like there's nobody more interesting to watch right now in the world of golf, because Rory basically lets it all hang out. I mean, Scheffler's a fabulous player, but he's kind of boring. Rory's not boring at all. You know, Rory's going to do very weird things, and his record is amazing. I mean, this is a pretty impressive record for 6 majors in this era.
Who ends their? Hey, let me ask you this, Brady. Who ends their? Now that I'm hijacking Ted's show here, who ends their career with more majors, Scotty or Rory?
That's a really good question. I mean, we know
Does he have about 4 or 5 years on him?
For 5, I think.
5.
It's. I'll tell you what's hard to do. We see it in almost every player, to keep it going over time. It's very difficult to do.
It is.
So Rory, I think, if Rory was stopping now, I'd say it's going to be pretty close, like within one way or the other. They'll either tie, but I do think Rory's got at least 2 or 3 more in him at this point.
You do. So you see him getting to 8 or 9.
I do. I think I think he and either Watson and him were going to be where they are tied, or it's going to be Player.
Wow.
I think that's where it's going to be. I think he's got at least 2 or 3 more in him.
That's impressive. He gets to 8 or 9. That's rarefied air.
And there's a decade between them, which is ridiculous. He could have ended up with more than a dozen.
For sure. He left a few on the table for sure. But everybody did. I mean, Jack had his back problems, and
I know.
You know, there's not a player that just was consistently winning the same number of majors over 5-year periods their whole career. It's just not something that happens, you know. I mean, I do think that Rory's like, unlike Jack, who, you know, in 1980 he was 40 years old, right? And in 1980, and he won finally he won 2 majors that year, but he had a bit of a lull in there too, and they didn't win again until 86. You know, so there was a gap in there. I think Tiger, you know, had his gap because of his injuries and whatever. But I mean, Rory, I really think he's got great golf in front of him. I mean, he's not getting shorter. He's getting smarter. His short game's phenomenal. He's putting great. Like, what's going to hold the guy back at this point? He's playing on house money. He's got the Grand Slam. I mean, he could absolutely have a 5-6 year run here. That's, you know, maybe one of the best the game's ever seen. He's got that kind of game to do that, and he's more mature. So if that happens, you know, in the next 6 years, he's got 6+ years, he's got, you know, 27 majors left to go, right? So I think he's got a really good chance to win, you know, 10% of those. I don't think that's out of the realm at all. And I think if he does that, he's going to be in that upper echelon of greatest players that ever lived.
Let me follow up on Brady's previous statement where he says Rory has done pretty much everything he's ever wanted to do, except for to be on this show. Let's hear from him.
When John Carr congratulated you, I think his words were never a dull moment. Given you held a 6-shot lead and then were 2 shots behind today, did that hit the nail on the head?
Yeah, I don't make it easy. I used to make it easy back in my early 20s when I was winning these things by 8 shots. But no, it's hard. It's hard to win golf tournaments. Especially around here. Like, it's, you know, you've had maybe a couple of runaway winners over the years, but it always seems to be a very tight finish at this golf course. So I think it's the nature of the golf course. It's the nature of what's at stake. So yeah, like I walked into the dining in the locker room yesterday, and I sat with Shane and Terrell, and you know, they were both saying, geez, like when we finished we were like 1 or 2 behind, and then all of a sudden we're 7 behind, and I said, boys, there's a long way to go. there's a lot can happen in a golf tournament over 36 holes or even 18 holes. So, I certainly didn't think I was home and dry after Friday night. I knew I still needed work to do, but I still thought I would have needed to shoot under par to get the job done. But thankfully I did enough.
Yeah.
Rory, could you just grade the different parts of your game throughout the week? Driving, irons, around the greens, putting.
I'm hear
curious, what is your conception of how you played versus how you think you could have played? I know things started to go a little bit awry here and there, but what's your overall assessment?
Yeah, I would say I felt like I didn't drive the ball great. I drove it better today. I would say I'd give it like a B-. I'd say for 3 days my irons were really good. Thursday, Friday, and today I felt like I hit some better iron shots. Yesterday was very poor, so I'd say I'd give that a B. But then my scrambling and my short game and my putting were, that's what won me this tournament this week. Even the chip on 17 wasn't that easy today. That was a really, really good chip shot. So yeah, I'd give my short game and my putting an A+.
Sam Farmer in the back.
Rory, can you explain the situation hitting balls Saturday night and sort of what you were able to work out and how that might have helped you today?
Yeah, I just my path was just getting a little bit too far to the right with every club in the bag, so I was just hitting too much of a draw. And then when the path's coming from that far inside, if you don't keep your body moving at all, the ball's just going to go dead left. So focused on hitting like quite a few cut shots, focused on really trying to open up my lower body through impact. When I do that, it helps me stabilize the club face and start the ball more on line with more of a neutral flight. So that was really the feel that I tried to get last night, and that was the feel I brought into today. And starting at the first hole, I hit some much better iron shots.
There you go. So that's Rory McIlroy. We got to hear from Brady on what he said, because some real key stuff. You talk about adjusting during the most important tournament of your life.
Yeah, he did what great players do when they're over curving their shot. The one they like the most is the best way to do that is to not pick a body part. Don't think about your elbow, your knee, whatever. Try to hit the other shot shape, because it neutralizes the shot a lot. So, I've done that a million times, and most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't work, but you basically are trying to hit the other shot shape so that your body feels a different pattern, that your brain is telling you to hit a certain shot. If he's going to try to hit a fade versus the draw, which he was hitting a lot, then his body's going to rotate more. That gets the club out in front of him more. The pass more left. The face isn't flipping over like it was when he was hitting overdraws. So, I mean, it's exactly what we all know to do. It's harder to do it, especially when you're going to go play the final round at Augusta. It's tough to get everything back on track, which he did. He knows his golf swing. He knows his golf swing. He knows what he needs to do to get things back on track. And, he's got very good people around him, from Fax on the greens and Michael Bannon and other guys. So it's not like he's not on top of it. And the thing I would say about it is, like, if you look at those four guys that are on the screen right now, 3 of them were the longest players of their era. Right? 3 of them were the longest players of their era. And 2 of them had unbelievable putting performances and short game performances that carried them through. Jack, that was not Jack. Jack was brilliant and incredibly smart and such a great ball striker. But, we all know his chipping and pitching wasn't great, but man, he could putt under pressure probably as good as anybody who ever lived. Faldo just wore your butt out. He hit fairways and greens. He was super smart, very disciplined about his game plan. He didn't do anything poorly. He was just a complete player, but he wasn't deep off the tee. But the 2 guys on the right, those guys are the longest of their era, and they both have ridiculous short games.
Right.
And it's pretty cool to see, you know, that level of talent. And I'd say Scheffler's in that conversation too. Scheffler kills it for somebody who, when you watch him, you don't think he hits it that far, but he does kill it. Right. But the two guys on the right, you know, they kind of had it all. They have the ridiculous length and height, all the shot making skills of anybody, and then their short games are just dirty. So it's really fun to see this progression. You know, you had the bomber, the methodical, like Hogan-esque was Faldo in my mind, you know, that same kind of methodical player. Yep. And then now you've got these two guys on the right that are just, they're special, man. It's a fun time to be watching golf, gotta be honest.
Yeah. So we're running a little long here, but I got to bring this up, guys.
Yes, I'm charging, so keep going.
The ugliest hats I've ever seen.
Oh my God, this was horrible. I saw this.
Did you? When I saw this, I was thinking, wait a minute, was this a customized hat? They sold this in the damn merchandise room. You got to be kidding me. They are lowering their standards. This is the effing Masters. What the hell are we looking at here?
This is so funny. I saw a guy wearing this in the crowd. I had the exact same question. Did he make this for himself? And they're selling it.
No, these are all for sale in the merchandise area.
Yeah, that egg salad one. Oh my God.
Now this one I don't know about, but I would be wearing this hat. Where did Brady go?
Brady's I don't know if he's recharging his phone.
Are you looking for a hat?
He's either recharging his phone or himself. I'm not sure.
I was at the concession stand. They're all out of egg salad. But I was looking
I thought you were just looking for the salt. What is going on over there? Look at this.
Were they really selling them in the concession stand?
Is Fred really paying attention to this? I know they make $1 million an hour or something like that.
Yeah, did you see that number this week? $10 million a day.
Yeah, it's like $1 million an hour.
$10 million a day.
Well, if you've been there, right?
I have. So I
know
totally
how people
get it.
Walk out.
I look at those people. Everyone is like $1,000, $2,000 of stuff they're bringing out, and it's because as 1950s level prices that the concessions are, everything in those shops is top dollar.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. And I don't know why they don't ship their stuff. I mean, it's easy to just ship it on the spot, and you don't have to carry the stuff around. But
by the way, I want this hat. Can somebody get me this one? This was my 8 on number 12.
Nice.
So I want that one.
Nice. We should get that. Brady and I will split it. We'll get it for you.
Okay. Each put up 4 to make it an 8.
Exactly. There you go.
Anyway, any other thoughts on this tournament as we wrap this sucker up? And Brady and I have a week full of the LPGA, the JM Eagle out at El Caballero here in the Valley. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it's a great field, including Brady's kids.
It's true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That'll be great. I mean, that's a good test of golf. That'll be a good tournament.
I think the Masters. Allison Lee. You're saying to wrap up the week like at Augusta. I would just say, I think there's just a little hope for humanity that just a little. I'm holding on to anything I got at this point because I just feel like Rory just does it right, like the entire time. You know, he did it right with the Anwa. He did it right with the dry chip and putt. He's a great champion. The dinner was terrific. Apparently, that would have been so fun to kind of be there and be a fly on the wall. And then, he just handled everything so well. And there's a lot of guys that would have been negative after that collapse he had on Saturday and wouldn't have handled it well. He handled it beautifully. I really just think that he's great for the game. He's just a terrific ambassador for the game of golf.
Yeah.
He was on the right side of history when things got a little funky a few years ago. And I think, it just gives me hope that Rory's setting an example that maybe McIntyre will follow versus following Sergio's lead at this point. I mean, Rory's what we want out of our greatest players in the game of golf. And I'm just very happy for him that he's experiencing joy at a course that gave him a lot of pain. And I wonder how many he's going to win when all's said and done. I think he could be in the 4 or 5 category just at Augusta.
So here's a first thought that no one's ever brought up. What would Rory have done if he broke his driver head on the second hole all day? At least he would have survived 18 better.
He would have.
That's right. He would have had the right club in his hand.
He wouldn't have done it.
That's right.
Go ahead, Larry.
No, he would have had the right club in his hand because he would have hit a 3-wood, which is what he should have done. But he wouldn't have done it. I agree with Brady. Not a chance. His conduct is the opposite of Sergio's.
Yeah, well, most guys are when you think about it.
Good point.
Anyway, we got the more majors coming up. I think we might have to do another show or two this year in front of or behind the majors. What do you think?
Absolutely, especially Shinnecock. I mean, you've got that Scotty's chance for the Grand Slam career at U.S. Open,
and Spieth is coming up before that.
Listen, I love Jordan. It is, and Ronemink's a great Donald Ross course, but boy, he's got to come to you for some putting advice. I think, Brady. I don't know. I mean, that's not good. But at Scotty, U.S. Open, Shinnecock, the chipping around there, I could see him doing it there.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see.
All right,
Links course.
Good. Yeah, we're gonna have fun this week, Brady. Hopefully see you out at El Cab. And in the next couple of days, I will be having a show. 3 interviews I already have in the can. That's Allison Corpus, all SoCal girls, and Andrea Lee gave me several minutes each. So I'm going to put that into a show in the next couple of days. I'm also trying to get Mo Martin, who's a one-time major winner out of UCLA, has an amazing story, and her house burned down during the fires of the previous year, which is just incredible. But anyway, just a little heads up for you golf folks out there. A lot more to come. Guys, appreciate the time as always.
A lot of fun. It was great. Always a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Hope everybody enjoyed the Masters as much as we did. You didn't enjoy it as much as our group text, though, yesterday.
No, our group text was, exactly.
Not even close, baby.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of whatever's left.
Take care.